Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today we are having a look at Rigid Audio's GroundShaker, and I got this as part of my best of bundle, but it is an absolute measly £2.49, which I find hard to believe. It goes under my no-brainer category for buying, because this is very cool, and it is a fully randomizable groove box with Midi clip export, and I will leave a link to this video as it will go through the whole thing, and it's about 20 minutes long. This is Dennis from Rigid Audio. I'm going to do a kind of quicker look at GroundShaker. So basically, yeah, kickstart your drum production with an infinite array of punchy grooves. So it has an absolute stack of randomization features. Unlike a lot of other randomizing software, it does actually work. A lot of times you'll get stuff randomizing and it just comes up with a whole pile of rubbish, but this is absolutely brilliant, and it is very, very quick as well. It is a bit CPU intensive, I have to say, when you've got all 5 layers going. Been getting a bit of the old beach ball of death going. To match 1,000 cutting edge drum sounds. Could also drag and drop your own sounds on as well, and then you can randomize anything or just the things you want. You can edit and fine tune your groove after you have dragged it into your DAW. Generate random grooves with a single click. Ideal for dance, pop and techno. Like I said, 1,000 cutting edge 24-bit WAV sounds. Includes 45 factory kits to get you started. Onboard audio file import and MIDI clip export. Multi-audio output for mixing in your DAW. And it has 4/4 and 6/8 time signatures and MIDI remote control. Be put off by this kind of weird kind of shape. There's various options for this, and this one's called Flames, but it's not the one that I particularly like using. So we'll go over to Logic, and I've got complete control open, and we will have a look at GroundShaker. Right, so here we are in Logic, and I have got GroundShaker loaded up. So they're all NKIs, so you can go through, and there's various different types. You've got Cyborg, Town, Dario Funk, Deep Warehouse, 4 on the Floors, Kickstarts, Slow Beater, State of the Art, and Underground Raves. Yeah, so there's an init here as well, but we'll start off with the first one with just the GroundShaker NKI. As you can see, there's a lot going on in this. Don't be put off. It is actually quite straightforward, and it has been mapped. So if you've got a complete keyboard, it is actually mapped, and this will control lots and lots of things. So I can control the volumes, can adjust the tightness, and all these controls. There's about 4 pages on the mapping. So you've got 5 instruments. You've got a kick, snare, hi-hat, shaker, and a perk. The red keys are just the triggers, so all these will just start and stop the pattern. And then the blue ones are kind of random triggers for the WAV files for the kicks. So there's 4 kicks, 4 snares, 4 hi-hats, 4 shakers, and 4 perks. And then the purple ones are the triggers. So that is the trigger for kick A, and then kick C, kick B, kick D, and then you've got the snares, and then they work along the hi-hats and the perks and the shakers. There is a lot of keys for starting and stopping. So if we just get this going, we can hear what it's like. Turn it down a wee bit. So this is your kind of first preset. You can see what's going on. So you've got the layer pattern. So you've got 4 layers, randomization patterns for the layers. And you can see this is the main randomizing button. And you can see it goes into the effects, the pattern, and the WAV files. And then you can switch this off and on. So this is the sequence without the pattern switched on. And then you can see it's triggering pattern B, and pattern C's got 1 trigger, and pattern T's got 4. So you could switch those off, and then you would just be left with A. So that is just pattern A going, and then you could switch these on again, have a different kind of pattern. And that's what it's like with that. And like I said, you can adjust the volume of each of these, and you can also lock everything off for randomizing. So it doesn't use dice for randomizing, it uses question mark. You can randomize the sounds up here for the layers, and you can randomize each sequence here. So you've got either 16 or 32 steps, so you can switch to 32 there, and you've got also an effects, and then this will randomize one of the 4 kicks, and then you can lock that off if you're happy with it and you don't want it to change during randomization. So a bit like Rando, as I have been working with Rando, you will know all about locking off certain parts to stop randomization. So this is your 5 samples, and like I said, you can switch them off. So if we start this is just the kick. So there's no, I'll just stop this, there's no mute button or solo. So if you want to mute or solo, you kind of have to switch them all off, which is it's maybe something that could have been put in. Hi-hat, you've got the same idea. So we could go to 32 on the hi-hats, and just kind of, you can just draw patterns in. So we could have a full-on we could kind of have something like that, and then shaker. So we can increase the volume of the shaker, take the hi-hats down a bit. I clicked the wrong one, so that's your shaker, and then your perks. Randomize that, and that's on the same beat as the shaker, so we'll move that. Right, and we'll just see what this sounds like all with them all on. Absolute rubbish. But we can sort that, because we'll just go to randomize, and we'll just fix that. We've got something a lot better. And then you can see it's put these on, so we can switch them off. Right, so I don't like the kick, so we can just randomize that. Put it down to 16. Right, that's a bit better. I don't really like the flames, so thankfully, if you go up here, it says options. So if you click GroundShaker, we can change the way the sequence looks. So there's default, which I quite like, and there's also slanted, which I am kind of getting a bit partial to. So, because the flames are a wee bit kind of confusing. I don't know, just not quite like them. So there's loads of other things you can switch on. You can randomize the shuffle. You've got the pitch fall layers. You've got sequence playback. You can enable remote control note. You've got audio output mix. And then you've got icing on the cake. So if we switch icing on the cake on, it adds a bit of kind of effect. So we can switch that on. So that's what it looks like with the slants. And then we can go to default and just, and obviously you can just drag these up and down. And then if I go onto my keyboard, I can adjust the volumes. So we'll have a look at one of these, because they're all pretty much the same. So this is your kick volume, and it also has a randomizer there. And this is the density. So you can see it's taken down the number of kicks. If we drag that all the way down, we end up with one kick. A detune. So this is the detune pitch. And then you've got the velocity, and then you've got the velocity here as well. Is kind of how they work. And like I said, if you've got an S series or an A series keyboard, you can use knobs and adjust all these a lot easier than tweaking. So we can adjust all this on the fly. So that's adjusting the pitch of the snare. Randomize again. 120. And like I said, we can just muck about with these. So that's the shaker pitch. Take the shaker down and take the hi-hats up. Right, so that's kind of how it works. Plus you've got half time as well. I forgot, you've got half time for the pattern and half time for the samples as well. And you can kind of revert. So if you get a pattern that you like and then randomize it again, you can actually revert to the last one, but just once. You can't keep going back, because I have done that a few times. You can accidentally hit this or do something, and it will allow you to go back. So like I said, I've done a couple of snapshots, so we'll have a quick look at those. So that's beat 1 and beat 2. And this is all running at 120 BPM, so you could obviously slow this down a bit and it would probably sound a wee bit better for some of these, or speed them up. So complete control sync to my DAW, so Logic's at 120, which is, I thought I'll just stick at 120 for the purposes of this. So for instance, we could have a look at one of the Cyber Town at Night, and that is 128. So it's not a million miles away. And then we've got one of the funk ones. Deep Warehouse. So you can see the effects are on for just about all of these. So you could always switch these off. See what it sounds like without the effect. Let's try that one, because I think I've maybe done some snapshots. Right, so we'll try the rave ones. And I've done a couple of snapshots for these. The snapshots are saved with these particular NKIs, which is a bit of a pain, but I suppose that's just the way that it has to work. So, so you need to remember, if you are doing snapshots, you need to remember which one you've actually done them on. So we'll go to rave 1. Rave 2. I'll try slow beater. So this one's at 120. So this is one of the few that's at 120. See what this sounds like. Is a kind of quick look at GroundShaker. Like I said, I will leave a link to Dennis's full kind of video. The only problem is there's no timestamps in his video, so you kind of have to watch the whole thing. It's a lot less complicated than it looks, and it is actually very good randomization. You can get something pretty quick. You're probably going, well, how do I get this into my DAW? Because there's no kind of obvious export button or anything. Well, it's this boombox down here, which nobody would have guessed unless you actually read the manual or watch the video. So if you want to export this particular pattern, you can just click and drag that and it will come in there. So we can play that here. So it does look a wee bit complicated when you have a look at it. But then that is because you've got all 4 layers on. So if you want this to look a bit simpler, drag it in again. If we take these off and just drag in 1 layer, it should look a bit simpler. So that is the first one. So you have all the variations. So, and then this is the second one where you just have the actual note. So it does look a bit bonkers when you bring it in, but it's just all the variations. So if we play that one, and then obviously you can just add in notes and edit it as you want. So I'm assuming this is the kick. Is it C2 is the kick? So you can just go in and edit things out there. So that is how you get it into your DAW. That is a kind of quick look at GroundShaker. If you are enjoying these videos, please like, subscribe, share and comment, and I will see you in the next one.